Good day, everyone, and welcome to another exciting vocab lesson. This is Mr. Stitt, and today we're going to go over week 19 for my 8th grade students. So here's a list of the words this week. Comply, elated, headlong, dissuade, turbulent, and pernicious. Let's jump into the first word of the week. Here's the first word this week, and it is comply. Comply. Now that's a verb, so it's an action. It's something you have to do. And comply means to act or be in accordance with the wishes, requests, demands, requirements, and conditions. So I have this image here of following the rules. When you comply, you essentially follow the rules. You're not a rule breaker. You're not out in the courtyard of our school throwing trash everywhere. You're not causing fights. You're the type of student who is on time. You're the type of student who is following all the rules that your teacher gives you. You're doing assignments 100% completely, and you're turning them in on time. You're following the rules. So synonyms of this word would be give in, give up, obey, observe, and quit. So essentially quitting meaning quitting your own desires and complying with the government or complying with the school or complying with your parents. So comply. The next word this week is elated, elated, and that's an adjective, so it describes something about you. Or something that's maybe you saw a movie and it made you feel elated, and it means very happy or proud, jubilant, in high spirits. If you just found a $20 bill on the ground randomly one day, you would be very elated. If that person that you really like said hello to you, you would be so elated. If you had a good grade on a test, you would feel so elated. Synonyms for this word are delighted, ecstatic, excited, joyful, and proud. Elated. The next word this week is headlong, headlong. Now this is an adverb, so it describes the way something is done. So if I jump, that's a verb, and that's an action. So if I describe how I jump, that would be an adverb. So if I jump headlong, that means I'm going with the head foremost, or head first, without delay and hastily. So as you can see in the image here, this man is jumping headlong into the water. So anytime you lead with your head, that's considered headlong. Now, other instances of this would be if you jump into something, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship with someone, but you didn't really think about it first. You jumped into it headlong, or you engaged in something headlong. So sometimes it can be bad to jump in headlong. It means you don't see things clearly and you do something quickly without thinking about it. So headlong can also mean breakneck, hurried, sudden, daring, rushing, and thoughtless. Headlong. The next word this week is dissuade. Dissuade. Now this is a verb, so it's an action. It's something that you try to do, and it means to deter by advice or persuasion. Persuade not to do something, often followed by from. So as you can see in this image, we have a lot of these around the state of Florida where I live, and it is used to dissuade people from swimming in an area or boating in an area where there's lots of alligators. Now, why would we want to dissuade or deter someone from doing that? Well, an alligator could eat them. It could bite them. It could harm them dangerously. And we want to stop someone from doing that. So anytime you give advice to your friend when they're about to do something that's not very smart, or whenever you maybe receive advice from your parents, like, hey, don't drive so fast, or hey, don't hang out with that person, they're dissuading you in the hopes that they keep you safe. So sometimes we ignore someone who's dissuading us, but sometimes that can cause great danger in our lives. Synonyms of this word would be deter, discourage, prevent, thwart, and warn. Dissuade. The next word this week is turbulent. Turbulent. And that is being in a state of agitation or tumult, disturbed. And as you can see in this image here, this is downtown San Francisco, and they have very turbulent landscapes. You can see in the picture here, it's very hilly, so it's not very easy to move about this city. It's very turbulent, and oftentimes in San Francisco, there's lots of earthquakes too because they're on a fault line. So the landscape and the living conditions there can be very turbulent. Anytime you see a movie that has war or fighting or violence, that's considered very turbulent. You might have an argument with a brother, a sister, mom, a dad, or your friend. That is a very turbulent situation to be living through. So synonyms of this word would be bitter, bumpy, choppy, rough, and stormy. turbulent. Well, the last word this week is pernicious. Pernicious. And it's similar to turbulent in the fact that it's an adjective, so it describes something, and it means causing insidious harm or ruin. Ruinous, injurious, and hurtful. So I have this picture here of what I consider to be an evil spirit, something devilish. So anytime something terrible happens to you that could cause great harm, that's a pernicious thing. People can be pernicious and very sneaky in trying to break the rules and trying to hurt other people. Synonyms of pernicious would be damaging, dangerous, deadly, harmful, lethal, and toxic. Pernicious. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Here's a list of the words we learned this week. This is week 19 for my 8th grade students, and the words were comply, elated, headlong, dissuade, turbulent, and pernicious. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope to see you next time. Bye.